U.S. President Donald Trump and his Democratic challenger Joe Biden have spent the final hours of the White House race delivering their closing pitch to voters in critical states. Mr. Biden campaigned in Pennsylvania and Ohio, as Mr. Trump toured the voting battlegrounds of Wisconsin, Michigan, North Carolina and Pennsylvania. National polls suggest a firm lead for Mr. Biden in Tuesday's election. But his lead is narrower in the handful of states that could decide the result. Nearly 99 million people have already cast their ballots in early voting, putting the country on course for its highest turnout in a century. To be elected president, a candidate must win at least 270 votes in what is called the Electoral College. Each U.S. state gets a certain number of votes partly based on its population, and there are a total of 538 up for grabs. This system explains why it is possible for a candidate to win the most votes nationally, like Hillary Clinton did in 2016 but still lose the election. Tuesday's vote comes amid the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. The U.S. has recorded more cases and more deaths than any other country worldwide, reporting more than 81,000 new infections on Sunday alone. What did Biden and Trump do on their final day of campaigning? After a punishing schedule of rallies in 6 states on Sunday, President Trump sprinted through 4 more battleground states on Monday. In North Carolina, he told supporters that, "Next year will be the greatest economic year in the history of our country." The rally was postponed from Thursday due to Hurricane Zeta. He touted numbers that he says, nobody even thought possible. The U.S. economy saw record-breaking 33% growth in the third financial quarter of this year, following a record 31% contraction in the second. Economists warn the damage inflicted by the pandemic, the biggest decline in the U.S. economy in more than 80 years, could still take years to overcome. After North Carolina, Mr. Trump headed to Scranton, Pennsylvania, the city where his opponent lived until he was 10. At a rally there he reminded his supporters that he won the state in 2016 despite polls suggesting he would lose. Mr. Biden also went to Pennsylvania where he was joined by singer Lady Gaga at a rally in Pittsburgh. Musician John Legend addressed voters with vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris. At a last-minute campaign stop in Ohio, Mr. Biden repeated the core message of his campaign, telling voters that the race was about the soul of America. He said it was time for Mr. Trump to pack his bags, saying, "We're done with the tweets, the anger, the hate, the failure, the irresponsibility." Mr. Trump tweeted on Monday that the High Court decision allowing ballots to be accepted 3 days after Election Day was a very dangerous one. It will allow rampant and unchecked cheating and will undermine our entire systems of laws. It will also induce violence in the streets. Something must be done. Twitter added a warning label that the tweet might contain misleading information and blocked it from being retweeted. Legal fights over ballots have also been unfolding in Minnesota, North Carolina and Texas. Mr. Biden has already vowed to stop Mr. Trump stealing the election. The president is to host an election night party inside the White House with about 400 guests invited. Up to 10,000 protesters are expected to gather on election night at Black Lives Matter Plaza and a park not far from the White House.